Welcome back to PHAMCAST. I'm here once again with Scott Hutchings, founder of Global Coin Solutions, and our FAM charitable partner. We've been talking, if you've been tuning in, about foreign currency fundraising and the impact that it can have on businesses and communities and the future of our healthcare in our society. But as a healthcare professional, I really love to look at the science behind things. And we have, February 10th is Giving Back is Good for Your Health Day during the Preventative Health Month. And we did this deliberately because we know when we give, physiologically, our body changes. And there's science to prove this. This is not just made up. It really matters when we sit in gratitude, when we're in community, and when we volunteer or give back. This is a different type of volunteerism and giving back. And Scott, because you've based you're different than other global companies doing foreign currency fundraising. Like, you really focus on fundraising, not just on foreign currency. Like, you really have a focus in fundraising, which is unique as well, correct?
It is, it is. There are other companies similar to ours, but the charity side of things is a secondary part of what they do.
Yes.
They are first and foremost currency exchanges.
Right.
We're not. We're a currency processor, and our focus is on working with charities and helping them build programs and create awareness for those programs as much as we possibly can. That's our goal.
Yes.
That's our objective.
And as you said in one of the segments earlier, you were talking about the charities are really struggling and competing for the dollars of Canadians and otherwise because people don't have that, that extra income to give to charities. But what's also really neat about this is that this allows charities, the differentiating factor is that they can also give back to the donors by knowing that the ripple effect, when they give their foreign currency, the person that's given that foreign currency to this particular charity is now then, they're going to be able to see it in action with that charity. And it's such a full circle moment. Having the foresight to see that and to make that your focus and center, I just first of all want to thank you. And from on behalf of all the charities across Canada, I really want to thank you. You know, FAM is not a not-for-profit yet. It's just a grassroots movement. I think I'm leaning towards having to go that way because it's become a beast in a good way and we need help. But let's talk about the science now, Scott. Let's talk about why when you give, we feel better. Why when you give, physiologically, things change in our bodies.
Well, I mean, I did a blog up in the very first FAM.
Yes,
month.
we have. So for all of you, just to interject, for all of you, you should go to wallisforwellness.com or becometheCEOofyourhealth.com. And on the homepage, you're going to see the FAM blog. You can subscribe to that blog. It is free. All kinds of FAMbassadors for 80 and climbing contribute education on a wide range of topics. And you, as a FAM partner, wrote a blog the very first year. And you talked about some of these statistics.
Yeah. So I had to go and do some research, obviously. I mean, you know inherently that if you can give, whether it's money, it's time, it's food, it's toys, it doesn't matter what it is, you feel good.
Yes.
Because you're helping somebody.
Yes.
And you know, I went digging, and Canada Helps, very well-known, reputable fundraising website that I'm not even sure how many thousands upon probably tens or hundreds of thousands of charities they help. They have 5 reasons why you should donate to charity, and 3 that specifically relate to well-being.
Right.
Giving promotes feelings of happiness. You're helping others.
Yep.
How can you not feel good about doing that?
Yes.
You experience lifelong benefits when you donate your time. So you're engaging with other people that are like-minded.
Yes.
And all you're trying to do is help, which...
Yes, and longevity medicine, a lot of the research now in longevity medicine, there's tons of research talking about the power of community and connection. And we learned through the pandemic when we were driven apart, the negative impact it had on our health, mentally, physically, emotionally, and otherwise. And so, yes, we know that health span and lifespan are better when we look at, I've got my professional designation as a consultant in aging, and when you look at the research of healthy aging, one of the top things that keep people well and that they live longer is connection in community. Right. And so this is exactly the opportunity, and why it has a physiological impact on the hormones in our bodies, which then impact our health, is community. And that's what Global Coins does. It creates a platform to bring community together. Yeah,
absolutely. The third is donating gives you the opportunity to show gratitude.
Yes.
And it's actually one of the reasons why GCS is as important to me as it is. I spent years prior to this being involved with companies that built things and sold things and marketed things, and it was all about things. Yes. It was all about selling. And this is as far removed from that as you can possibly get. And we're doing something that is giving back. It's obviously a completely different way of giving back, but everything we do is about helping somebody else.
Yes.
And so that's good for our health as well.
Yes, and your employees. And what I love, and I didn't mention this at the top of the show when I was talking about Global Coin Solutions, what it takes to bring all these different types of currencies from around the globe into one centralized location to be sorted manually. I've been there on a tour, and if you ever get a chance, you're going to want to see that, or look at the global news segment, which we'll make sure we put up so you can see it. It is remarkable. It takes hours. And one of the things that really struck me, and when we first talked about your business, Scott, and that was that it's a very repetitive type of activity that has to happen when you're sorting coins, because there isn't automation necessarily to do that.
No.
And you've gone out of your way to ensure that you give equal opportunity to all Canadians, those that are living with disabilities and perhaps somebody with autism, where in fact, this is an opportunity for them to shine, because that repetitive type work they're really, really good at.
Yeah, and it's something I thought about for a long time. And unfortunately, things have changed with the business since the pandemic.
Yes.
We're smaller and leaner than we used to be. But prior to the pandemic, we were extremely busy. And we had situations where we were doing a lot of extremely repetitive work, to the point that if I did it, after about 20 minutes, I didn't even know where I was.
Right.
And so we reached out to a number of different organizations dealing with people on the autism spectrum.
Yes.
And we had different people come through. They were paid the same as anybody else. They were treated the same as anybody else, with accommodations, of course.
Of course.
And we actually had somebody from their home who was in there with them, because in some cases, in one case in particular that really I will never forget, we had a woman who's older than I am, had never had a job, and was almost nonverbal, at least with people she did not know. She definitely was. She wouldn't engage. And she came to work for us and did her job. And it wasn't until months later that I was hearing from her support worker that her life at home had changed. Ugh. And I had, call it selfish. I was looking at a solution for a challenge that we had, and somebody on the right part of the spectrum doing repetitive tasks was the solution.
Right.
I wasn't thinking beyond how we might actually have a positive impact on their lives.
Yes.
And, it just, I will never forget hearing that.
Oh.
It just.
All people, as it goes without saying, have value, and And if we run a business with that lens, with the lens of inclusiveness, with the lens of non-judgmental, with the lens of solution-based thinking, but that we're working together and we all can play a role, that ripple effect is just so heartwarming. And that brings me to tears because, I don't have a child with autism, but I've worked as a therapist with many people on the spectrum. And as clinicians, even what we do in treatment rooms or in treating, we hear often after the fact that ripple effect that's happening in the home, and the same as in the workplace, but to have a woman that's never worked before and you give that opportunity. As a person that might donate my foreign currency, hearing your story and what you're doing to create this brand, that's what I want to support. That's why this heartbeat, and this is what I want everybody to know. I candidly and boldly said when we started FAM, the movement, 4 years ago, I came to Scott and I said, you have to be my charity partner. Yes, because we wanted to give back money and help to elevate others. But more, Scott, I'm going to say this publicly, it's because of this. It's because of who you are as a CEO. It's because of who you are as an innovator. It's because who you are as a human, wanting to make a difference. And that, when I put my coins into a thing, I'm not just thinking that it's going to help this food, bank. It's that I am thinking that, but I'm also knowing what goes on behind this business. And to me, that at the root, in the fabric of what preventative health movement is about, is what we need in this country.
Well, and when I started the company, I had the simplistic goal of helping as many charities as possible.
Yes.
I started with that. And then the second part of that is putting Canadians to work.
Yes.
And it rolls together because the more charities we help, the more money gets raised, the more people I need to do the work. And as you said, it's something that we do manually.
Yes.
So, when somebody donates their mixed currency, not even foreign, just mixed currency in general, it doesn't matter what it is, we have to take it apart by hand.
Yes.
That's the only way to do it. And so, objectively, if I'm running 24/7 and we've got 10 people always on staff, always working, then I've succeeded.
Yes.
Because the amount of money that's going back to the charitable sector is going to be off the charts.
Yes.
So, it just, the idea of being able to incorporate people on the spectrum and do more than just provide a job.
Yes.
Like I said, I didn't have the foresight to think of that. It ended up being a side effect.
A very positive side effect.
Something
Yeah.
I didn't see. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I just love hearing these stories, and you've got so many of them. So let's talk a little bit, about the future of GCS. I know, very exciting. You're now in Japan. What are some of you just spoke to it a little bit, having more people sorting more, having enough currency being donated that you want to scale the business so we can give back more. This exponential growth, which continues to give back, is just the most brilliant concept. What's in your foresight as well for FAM in the next coming years?
Well, so to answer the question about GCS in particular, so yes, we've opened an office in Japan, and one of the additional components of now having an office on the other side of the world is it also brings us closer to those countries. And so we're also developing the logistics around being able to cost effectively, quickly, and getting the most value for as many different currencies as we possibly can.
Amazing.
So Japan becomes the center of the Asia Pacific region, and we're connecting with countries all around to be able to deposit those currencies in the best way possible. So, from from a GCS perspective, that's where our focus is on growing and being able to do this better. We will eventually open a physical office in the United States.
Amazing.
Time will tell exactly when that's going to happen. Having said that, we have just signed up to American Charities most recently in the past 2 weeks, I think. Both in the animal space.
Oh, very cool.
So very different. One's a sanctuary for senior cats.
Okay.
And they receive donations from around the world today. So why not foreign currency? But that's where I'm looking at GCS going next, and continuing the focus on growing the charitable effort and charitable work in Canada. I mean, yeah, we've got a lot of drop-off locations in Ontario, but there's only a couple of players. Currency for Kids, Currency for Food. We have some FAM associated drop-off points right now. There's one FAM partner who is collecting for the Children's Aid Foundation of Halton.
Amazing.
But the goal here is to actually make Canadians aware that this is a way that they can give.
Yes.
And the more awareness there is in the population, then the more there's more opportunity for a charity to say, we're going to get involved.
Yes.
So that's the objective. Is I want to have collection points from coast to coast to coast where people can go and drop off whatever they have, and they can donate it, and you can donate it to whatever charity you want.
Well, this is what I love about this, and this is why I feel that it was such a perfect fit for FAM, because we've got a wide range of communities, a wide range of healthcare professionals, and a wide range of interests and connections. And that opens the door for potential of raising money for all kinds of charities. I'm learning about charities that I didn't know about because FAMbassadors are saying, well, this is my love and my passion, or I'm in a rural community. I'm going to give a shout out to Stephanie Vandenbush, one of our FAMbassadors, who's leading the way with bringing accessible preventative and integrative health to rural communities, because they often get left behind. The bigger centers get a lot of the focus, but Exeter, Ontario, where she is, it's a powerful place when you have an inspired leader like Stephanie. So speaking of that, let's talk about with FAM and what my goal is with FAM 2026 and beyond, is really taking these FAMbassadors, but our FAM partners, so the businesses that we also collaborate with. Let's talk about those opportunities and how businesses could be drop-off points, making it simple so that they can contribute and help raise as much money as possible. It is remarkable what it can do for businesses, because people are coming into their offices to drop off foreign currency or sparking up a conversation. This is what I want to see happen. Downtown business associations across this country, this is your call to action. Reach out to us, be part of the family, and get your FAM container, your Global Coins container, so that you can pick the charity that you want in your community, and we can start donating. And together, because Scott, do we have the ability to look at, so say, let's dream here. Let's say, okay, FAM's going to have, a collecting point in every single province, or multiple, but let's just start with every province. But each collecting point, they could have a different charity that they're giving to. Is there a way, and I'm saying this live on air here now, is there a way that we could look at and say, okay, at the end of FAM for this year, we've raised X numbers of thousands of dollars collectively for charity, and then we can break it down into the charities, because I want people to see that we're better together. And charities even partnering together, charities that work together, grow together.
Absolutely.
I know this firsthand. I'm going to share. Because people are competing for dollars. Charities are competing for dollars, but I've always believed in collaboration. More than 15 years ago, I launched myself out of an airplane with a parachute to launch my new website. And I was raising money for two charities. One was for SMA, spinal muscular atrophy, because a dear family member of mine has spinal muscular atrophy, but also for Bethel Hospice, because sadly, a lot of children that get SMA, they end up passing away. So both charities serve the same population, but for different reasons. And I said to them, let's come together and let's raise funds. And I convinced 15 other people to jump out of an airplane with me. And we raised money for 2 charities. I launched my website when I hit the ground, but I showed that even charities can work together. And that's what my vision was for the future of FAM, in partnership with Global Coin Solutions. That's doable, right?
Oh, we're seeing that now.
Yes.
So Currency for Kids, we talked about that.
Yes.
So when Currency for Kids launched, it launched with one Children's Aid Foundation.
Yes.
And the person who headed that up saw a gap in that the Children's Aid Foundations across Ontario didn't communicate with each other.
Right.
And so started the process of bringing people together, and now we have 13 Children's Aid Foundations that are part of Currency for Kids, and they meet outside of Currency for Kids now.
That's awesome.
And they're collaborating on different projects. You may have seen different Children's Aid Foundations talking about the lemonade stand.
Yes.
They've been running those and making a lot of money doing that.
Yeah.
Currency for Food, Georgian Triangle, right? We started knowing that there is 17 minimum, and we believe that we're finding more sort of unofficial church-based food security initiatives. But we started knowing that there's all of these food banks in the Georgian Triangle area. We now have 4 officially signed up as partners for Currency for Food, and they're promoting it, they're talking about it, and they're creating awareness. And one of the things that I have said since day one, and you've mentioned this many times, prior to the pandemic, when in the normal world, charities were fighting for the same dollar. They still continue to do that today. There's no question about it, and the fighting is even more fierce than it ever was. But with foreign currency, there is so much out there, and there are so few that are going after it. And I'm not knocking the situation, but like even something like Currency for Kids, we can do a lot more.
Yes.
But my point is, and the message that I have shared with every person that I've had a conversation with in the charitable sector, is there's a lot of money to go around.
Yes.
So the fact that we have the Ottawa Children's Aid Foundation collecting in Ottawa doesn't stop another organization called Voice Found, who is in the human trafficking space in Ottawa, from doing the same thing, collecting similar money.
It's a different audience, but it's going to resonate differently,
well,
and people are going to want to donate.
And yet, Voice Found and the Children's Aid Society actually work together.
Of course.
So my point is, going back to the collaboration, creating, the more awareness we can create, the more that everybody that's involved in this is going to win, because we're going to elevate that message. We're going to get it known. When somebody hears, oh, I can give, well, then maybe it's going to tweak and say, oh, I've heard of this charity, I've heard of that charity, I can give to them. Or they're going to say, well, hang on a second, where's my favorite charity in all of this?
Exactly.
Why aren't they collecting?
I love this. I love this.
So the possibility is absolutely,
enormous.
When we're talking about billions of dollars.
Yes.
I'll be very upfront right now. I can't process billions of dollars. I can't process hundreds of millions of dollars. But we can process millions.
Of dollars.
We know that we can process millions of dollars every year because we've done it.
And we're ready to do that through the preventative health movement. Scott, this has been so enlightening. If you are a healthcare professional and have a practice, if you're a business owner and have a place of business, if you are a Canadian that wants to give your foreign currency, please be part of the family in this preventative health movement. Help us give back. Scott, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your heart-centered care that you're giving. Together, 1 cent at a time, we're going to change the legacy of healthcare and improve the health and well-being of Canadians, because that's what we do. I hope you'll join us again.
Anytime.
Take your foreign currency right now and go and donate it. Go to globalcoinsolutions.com and make your donation today. And until next time, remember, a healthy tomorrow begins with prevention today. And together, we can make a massive difference. See you soon.